Okay, this is Boxing Beats and Rhymes. Today we have Reece Shagourie, 25-year-old man from London. Reece is an entrepreneur and one of Britain's best amateur boxers. So he's going to tell us his story today about his journey as a boxer and his aspirations as an entrepreneur. And he has a lot to say. He's experienced a lot at 25 years of age. You know? That's all in the first part. And in the second part, we'll be covering nutrition, drugs in sport, amongst other things. So, in the first part and the second part, I'm going to show you slides of Reece modeling some of the clothes, and you'll also see some of the prototypes of the clothes, the t-shirts, the hoodies, etc., etc. So you can see the young man's work. So let's get this popping. Peace out. How much variations of t-shirts you got? You got the polos and you got the normal shirts.
You got the polo, you got the normal t-shirts.
All right.
And I've got vests at the moment. And the next set is going to be varsity jackets, and I'm going to do bags as well.
Okay. So you're going to go for the full. So you're going to do gum shields and everything. Headgear, is that the intention?
Yeah, everything's there, but what it is, because the people that are going to do all of that for me, they're all overseas. So the reason why I never really messed around with them first is because all the guys who I deal with to get my stuff from, they're all local, within walking distances.
Yeah.
Like, literally, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I mean, I'm in Stratford.
Right.
One of my dealers is in Leytonstone. Another one's in Stratford. Another one's in Walthamstow. That's all within East London. So, you know, like when you kind of test the market and play around a little bit more on a local level first?
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I haven't dealt with the dealers on another level overseas, because I've been doing, you know, just from what I've been getting on a local level. But
yeah,
the headgear's coming soon. All of it's coming soon. I've spoken to the people. I've sent them my logo. And they've told me that they can do it with no problem.
Yeah. So the next thing, boy, is to get some boxes. Get some boxes to model it, and well, that's when you, like you say, when your business is, you get more of the business end tied up. You know what I mean? Get some models, and I mean some female boxers, some male boxers.
Exactly.
I can see that kicking off, man.
Exactly, and then And then there's a good thing that there's a positive note I can add to what you just said.
Yeah.
There's, you know, that trainer Don Charles.
Yeah.
I speak to a few boxers in his camp, and because I know them personally, and I sparred with a few of them, and I've actually sent them some pictures of my gear.
Okay.
And they actually like all the stuff I've sent them.
That's big.
So they, you know, don't be shocked if you used to see a few boxers in it, you know, like
Mark Prince coming back. Yeah, Mark Prince is at Don Charles.
There's a few. Like I've spoken to two boxers in Don Charles's camp, who have told me that they want to wear it. And the thing about it, the funny part about it, is, you know, it's a case where people are actually offering their services to me.
Yeah,
it's not a case where I've never had to go out and actually ask, like, you know, and I've told people what I've got, and people are responding to me saying, "Yeah, man, I'm on it."
Excellent. I love that.
So it's like, you know, when it's a case of, you know, when you're applying the resources you've got around you already, and I haven't had to look here, there, or everywhere. Everything's been at my doorstep, technically, and I mean, even from certain people who are not in boxing, they've offered their little services. You know, they're like, that's another reason why I haven't done my website yet, because the people who are going to be doing that, you know, like where everything's been all localized. Yeah. And then one of the beauties to what I've got kicking off is a whole bunch of unemployed people who look like us, who have brought their expertise to the table, and it's very positive what they're bringing to the table. So it's a case where we can all get each other paid as well.
Yeah, because there's talented people out there, but they're just not getting a shot.
Exactly. And it's those same talented people who have been putting me on, but obviously the issues that we've all had is just, you know, like where we've got to take whatever's in front of us work wise.
Yeah.
So everything, you know, everything's all scheduled and planned and mapped. So that's why it's like I can't just attack it today, go tomorrow. Everything's got to be done in a certain orderly fashion.
Yeah.
And even just, you know, just for what I've been bringing, say, to the gym, I've been walking around in my clothes. Literally, I've thrown out 4 black bin bags of my old clothes and just been replacing them for what I now have.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like, I've got all, you know, because I'm a man, I used to love all my clothes and all of that. And I would buy my clothes. Because I start, you know, like, because now, since I've started my own thing now, I'm looking at all my clothes differently.
Yeah.
If anyone comes in the house and sees any clothes of mine that they like, I say, oh, do you like it? Yeah, go on, take it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Clear out.
I've done it times. Yeah, clear out. The bad word, clear out. I mean, and because my auntie works in a homeless shelter as well.
Yeah.
Because she works in a homeless shelter, I gave 3 black bin bags full of clothes to it.
3 black bin bags in it.
Yeah, and then like literally like, because I had to call my mum because the bags were tearing up. Like we had to double each bag.
Yeah.
The bags were tearing. And then I just said, yeah, that ain't nothing. I said, I own my own now, so they can have all that. And these ain't no idiot clothing either. These, you know when it's pure top things that you're letting out. But it's all collecting dust and it's just extra baggage and extra weight in my wardrobe that I don't need.
Yeah.
So like literally, I mean, it's one of those things now. I'm looking at all my Lonsdale hoodies. I'm looking at all of it and be like, boy, your days are numbered almost. Like, because my brand is taking up the shelf. Like.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm gonna have to come get some because I'm normally got the Lonsdale hoodies. I'm gonna have to come see you. I mean, and get some Fighters Block hoodies, a couple of T-shirts.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, and you know, I mean, Stratford's ain't hard to find me, and I've had this same number that you're calling on since I was 12. So,
yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm around, so it's not a case of going missing.
All right.
And so yeah, of course.
Excellent.
And then you see like when this Haringey Box Cup comes, in June. Don't be shocked if you were to see certain fighters wearing it. You know that because I've spoken to people, and you know how when they see you wearing your gear, and they're asking, "Oh, who's that or what's that?" I'll be like, "Yeah, it's mine."
That's right. That's right.
And then everyone's like, "Yeah, bro."
That's a great look.
So you know that when it's a whole bunch of and it's a whole bunch of positive feedback I've been getting.
Yeah.
Like, and then I'm getting put under a lot of pressure from all moms, like, "Oh, when you gonna do stuff on a kids range? When you gonna?" And this is even coming from my own family as well.
Yeah.
Like, literally everyone's putting it on me, saying, "Oh, yeah, you've got good stuff, but what about the kid ones and what about this one?"
Yo, there's no turning back, man. That's the thing. Like once you start your business and you know, because you know you had an idea, you wouldn't have did it. You know what I'm saying? Because I was looking at the girl and said, "Right, the man was good." So there's no turning back. So that's why your family's pressuring you now. You know what I mean? I'm coming kids range, you know, and everything. You know what I mean? Yeah,
and then you know where a lot of the cousins and that having kids as well, so they're all saying, "Oh yeah, I like that one," you know. Yeah, what about such and such? So everyone's putting it on me.
Yeah.
And then, but I think you know what it was. Obviously, like I said, the idea was in my head from 2007.
Yeah.
But you know when it takes certain steps that have to be made.
Yeah.
I think the first step was made was when I went into the print shop and ordered all the stuff I wanted and saw everything I liked, and then when I put that in that £300 deposit, and then the guy said, "Hey, I've got some of your stuff here," and then you know, so I now crossed that barrier.
Yeah.
And then when one of my boys who I boxed with, Carlos, bought my first thing that I had was sold to him.
Yeah.
So you know, like when it's like, yeah, I'm now in it now.
That's what it is, man.
yeah, then a whole bunch of novice boxers are like, yeah, man, can I get that? You know, in Islington, we've got like academy boxers and fitness people.
Yeah.
Everyone just come with a whole bunch of interest. And when I boxed last week on the Earlsfield show, like Earlsfield had a show last week, Saturday.
Okay.
And I boxed one of their top boys, Robert Garvey.
All right.
He was 130 fight. He had 130 fights.
How did it go?
Yeah, I won.
Okay.
I was the only boxer that beat an Earlsfield fighter on that show.
Damn. But most time I've seen you box recently, boy, it's just pure W's, boy, in the column right now. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, I did that, and then I got beat in the London finals of the ABA against another Earlsfield boxer who I used to box with at Repton.
Okay.
And he went on to he got to the ABA semi-finals.
Right.
He got beat by the winner. He got beat by the winner, Felix Cash, this year.
Right.
And again, even Felix Cash used to be at Repton, so almost technically it was me, LaRon Richards, and Felix Cash. It's all three former Repton boxers who almost were on course to winning that ABA. And then, you know, like, there's a lot of mixed opinions about who people say who won and lost that ABA between me and LaRon.
Okay.
And then it was weird, you know, it was all funny. It was a funny day that day in Croydon because literally my mum and his mum know each other.
Right.
I'm in good friendship relationship with his parents and his younger brothers, and you know, so like, you know, when families to families, everyone's cool.
Yeah.
And then everybody at Repton's watching both of us as we don't box for Repton. So it's like we've left Repton and we're now in the finals against each other.
Wow.
So it was, you know, like, and then there was like two halves. There was a real half of people that were cheering me on,
yeah,
and another half cheered LaRon on.
Right.
But like me and LaRon, we are still friends. It's not a case like there's no bad blood there.
Yeah.
Somebody had to win. And then that happened on that Saturday. Then the Saturday after, literally a week later, I went to Switzerland to box for Jamaica against Switzerland.
Okay.
So that was a 50 milestone in terms of my fights as well.
That your 50th fight,
yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah, so I've had 51 now.
Okay. Excellent.
And so yeah, like, so when I went out there to do that, even though it was at Islington and Jamaica versus Switzerland, but because there was me and a female boxer called Sarah Ray Joy.
Right.
She lives in Switzerland with Jamaican parents too.
Right.
So like her mother's from Switzerland and her father's from Jamaica. And she did the Olympic trials last year in China at the Women's World Championships.
Okay.
So literally, like, when you know, they do an event in Switzerland every year, like Switzerland versus Jamaica, it's a pro amateur show, and they have a big reggae night after the boxing. So it's a whole event, and there's a whole load of Jamaican artists who live in Switzerland who perform that night too.
Is that so? In Switzerland, yeah? Damn.
Especially Zurich, there's a little Jamaican community there, and they came in full force to Switzerland when we were over there.
Wow. I didn't see no yard man in Switzerland. I just didn't envision that. You know what I mean?
Hey, the DJ was a yard man as well, and he used to box for the same gym I trained at over Stanley Couch Gym.
Damn.
And I was saying, how did these man find himself in Switzerland?
That's amazing. That's an amazing story, man.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, Jamaicans are the modern day travelers, but travelers of the world, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, so that it was a big event because literally, like, when we came out after the boxing, the bar next door to where we boxed was where all the reggae night was happening, and they had all these like little Jamaican dancehall queen girls, but they all live in Switzerland. And these dance, like, they're very highly profiled in Switzerland.
Right.
So yeah, like, it was a big event, and then we made it a show, and Switzerland didn't care who won or lost once they got a good fight.
That's what it's all about, man. Yo, Apollo, do you know Reece? Apollo,
Say it again.
do you know Reece?
Yeah, I saw one of the interviews you guys did with him before.
Right.
I haven't really got anything to say. So
No, I was wondering because I was gonna say Reece, like this. Apollo is an aspiring. He's an aspiring boxer.
I follow all the time at Peacock, man. I see him all the time in Peacock, man.
Okay.
That's good. But listen, but what's the...
And he lives 5 minutes down the road from me.
Okay.
That's cool. Well, what stands out, though? Like, I've been listening, Reece, but what stands out... You said you got 51 fights, and you took on some guy with 130 fights and beat him?
Yeah.
What's that like, man? Someone has had like over twice as many fights as you.
I'll be honest. When you're in there, you don't feel the difference. But I must admit, since that fight, I've still been back in the gym. I've been sparring. I've been training. There's certain habits that I used to practice prior to that fight, and it's almost like I've kind of grown out of them in that fight. Because you know, when you're in with an experienced fighter, or even when you're sparring with a fighter with experience, you're more conscious and you've got so much awareness to you. All those bad habits, they kind of just fade out. So that was one of the things that stood out for me ever since that fight, how certain habits I just got out of. And I learned a lot in that fight without realizing how much I learned.
Okay, that's cool, man. But I was just been listening the whole time.
Yeah, man.
Okay, that's no problem, man.
So, are you gonna enter the ABAs coming up in? I think this one's in May.
I did the ABAs already, and I got to the London finals. I got beaten in the London finals, which was in Croydon this year.
Okay.
Hello? Yeah, and then but got the Haringey Box Cup this year, and I think it's either May or June. And I've entered for that, so yeah, I will be. That's over in Alexander Palace.
Okay. Let me know when that is, man.
That's gonna be a whole 3 day straight boxing. Like it will be the Thursday boxing, Friday boxing, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday boxing. Fridays is all juniors.
Okay.
So you see me boxing 3 days in a row. I mean, I know the competition's out there, and I know how to deal with them, so it's all good.
How hard do you have to train for fighting 3 days in a row?
Believe it or not, sometimes like when I was in Panama, I did it. Like when I was doing all the Pan Am games and all of that, I did it all. So I'm used to doing it and making weight every day for 5 days straight. Believe it or not. When I boxed the first day in Panama, it was all right. You shaking off cobwebs almost. But then the second day, when I boxed in Panama, I did better.
Right.
And with a inflated hand. Like I remember, my hand was all swollen up, and I still won highest scoring fight in the whole competition. My score was the highest score in the whole competition. I won 27-10.
Damn.
Against a fighter from Uruguay. But no other score was any higher than that through the whole competition. And then the third fight I boxed. You know the guy who Anthony Ogogo fought in the Olympics, Junior Castillo?
I remember the fight.
Yeah, that's what I boxed in Panama as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I boxed him in Panama, but that fight was a terrible fight because every time I hit him, I was hurt because of that whole swelled up hand.
Yeah.
I had inflammation in my hand, and I was fighting for 3 days with it. But a lot of that was to do with what they did to us in Panama, with they gave us children-sized hand wraps.
Right.
So when every time I was hitting with the glove, like my hands, it was too tight because it's children-sized hand wraps.
Yeah.
And then it was only the third day they allowed us to use our own hand wraps. But they had given all those they had given us. But then the thing with Panama, we were supposed to be in Colombia but there was a rainstorm which took place in Colombia at that time. So that's why none of us went Colombia, and Panama was a late emergency sort of situation. That's why nothing was fully organized.
Damn. Wow. It's good stuff, man.
So, yeah, I know. I mean, but that's how it is, though. But I mean, and then even when I went Ecuador, it was a mad fight. Like, because when I was in Ecuador, I was winning over there, and the guy from El Salvador headbutted me.
Right.
And that cut my whole eye. That cut all my eye up. And like he came right through the middle and just rammed his head into my eyebrow.
What, deliberately?
Yeah, he did it deliberately. Because what happened, as I was boxing him on the move, he was a good left hooker. And what he did, he kind of shaped his body up, and then he headbutted me, but I turned, you know like how you see Floyd Mayweather kind of put his head behind his shoulder?
Yeah.
I did that to him, and he headbutted me in my shoulder. And the ref warned him. So he was looking for it. You know, the whole time during the fight, he was looking for it.
Wow.
And then he just, because he was kind of short, he was shorter than me. And you know like how Hispanic fighters roll with their head?
Yeah.
He done the exact type of rolling, and he just came out right through the middle. And straight away, all my eyebrows just cut open and split.
Damn.
And then I was still fighting, and the referee looked at him because I was still landing all my punches, but I couldn't see nothing out of one eye.
Yeah.
That I had all blood pouring in the eye.
Wow.
And then the doctor saw it, and they called it off because I got stopped. So I got stopped on a cut eye.
Right.
And then all of that was going on in Ecuador. That literally that they put all soldering on it.
Right.
Like that doctor. It was crazy because none of the people spoke English.
Yeah.
And none of the people spoke English, and it was literally Caribbean islands versus Latin American countries over there.
Damn.
And then I had all these Spanish doctors calling me in the ambulance and kicking out everybody, even including my coach. And then they put the soldering on me to close my eye.
Yeah.
And but what happened? It only closes it for a brief period because the adrenaline.
Yeah.
So that anything at that time can close it. But then an hour later, as my body temperature calmed down, when we were in the restaurant, all blood just poured out of it.
Damn.
Poured all over my arms in the restaurant.
Okay. Damn.
I had to go to the doctor's house. And get it stitched up again.
Wow.
So I was walking up and down Ecuador for an extra 4 days with a swelled up eye, dark sunglasses.
Is that the first bad injury you've suffered?
I mean, in training once I broke my ankle once in training.
Okay.
But then a lot of that came down to my lack of awareness, like in terms of training footwear and using the right equipment, just the basic stuff kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what caused that, and that messed me up for 6 months. But that was 2006.
Okay.
So, I was 18 years old, and, I'm still learning as I'm going on as well.
I broke my ankle the year after you broke yours. I broke my ankle the year after you broke yours. You broke yours in 2006. I broke mine in 2007, man. No, I'm saying I broke my ankle.
Oh, you broke yours as well?
Yeah, a year after you broke yours, 2007.
Yeah, so a lot of it was, like... Oh, yeah?
Yep.
See, and, but that was mainly, due to misunderstanding.
Yeah.
I mean, so a lot of it, so when you're learning on the job.
Yep.
And you're getting hurt in the process, or you're getting a lot of education in the process.
Yeah.
So that's what was going on, especially. I mean, since 2010, there's been a drastic change in terms of what I know boxing wise, how I applied certain things diet wise and training wise. But it was it's been a real boy to a man experience.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened, in terms of my growth as well. So I don't I'm not really mad at the injuries anymore. I'm not mad at those past experiences because, you know, like they done what they had to do for me.
Yeah.
If anything, they've been enhancers to what I can do now.
Yeah.
And how I'm able to go about things now. I mean, that still to this day, I get people saying, when you going pro? When you going pro? When you going pro?
Yeah.
I mean, and then the real thing is pros don't get that much money, so what am I in a rush for?
That's right.
And then, you know, that whole idea, what about your age? Them days are done.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the science has changed, how we look after ourselves, the whole overall awareness has changed. So them days of turn pro before you're 20, after 20, when you're 22, so they can get more years out of you.
Yeah, that's right. That's all it is.
Yeah, like, I mean, every single pro I've ever met that said that he turned pro based on he wanted to do it before his age and got too old.
Yeah.
None of them have done well. Like,
That's
none
right.
of them have done well based on that.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're more fighting the clock with their age and they're actually fighting. They're not really fighting. Like, they're not, you know what I'm saying? It's like they're not fighting an opponent in the ring. They're fighting to do something before they get too old.
Yeah. But I suppose if you get into 35 or 30, it's probably that's a bit advanced.
Yeah, but then, okay, you interviewed my good friend Larry Ekundayo.
Yeah.
I think he was 29 when he turned pro.
Yeah, he was about that. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so again, now don't get me wrong. I've sparred with Larry, and Larry's another guy. Like, when I was 17, it's guys like him, Tony Salam. I mean, I had to get worked over by these guys.
Yeah.
Like, I used to get, like, when St. Pancras was St. Pancras Kronk, and, you know, at that time, Larry just came from Nigeria. It was Larry, Tony Salam, Josie Olusegun. They all had been trained by Pops, Joe Mensah.
Okay.
And so I used to go down there on, like, the odd Thursday and Friday. And I used to get worked by, especially Larry. And, no, like, you know, I'll say it how it is.
Yeah. You're keeping it real.
Isn't it? Like, I used to get worked. And, and then, bearing in mind, these guys had done a whole bunch of stuff. And then, you know, when I actually spoke to Larry, and Larry told me half the things that he had done, because I think he went Manchester 2002 as well. So, you know, even though, he turned pro at, 29, but his skills are so well honed that it's not an issue.
Larry ain't no joke in there, man. Larry ain't no joke.
Exactly. And then the thing is, because he's always kept himself in good shape. Like, when I used to look at him, I used to think, like, at the time he hadn't boxed in 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm saying, bro, you ain't boxed in 2 years and you still look like that.
Yeah.
You know when a man looks extremely well.
Yep. He don't look nowhere near his age.
Yeah, and then the thing is, like, okay, I've met Larry's family, like children and wife. Like, I've met them all, and it's like, it's not a case where you can say, oh yeah, you're not boxing, you're at home with your family and kids, and you just get fat. No, like, the man he kept himself very well.
Yeah.
Within that 2 year time, and then when I think he made his pro debut, or when he won Prize Fighter.
Yeah.
I think Eddie Hearn was saying, I can't believe this man's been out the ring for 2 years.
Yeah.
And he looked like he looked like it was just, doing his thing in the ring just felt natural to him.
Yeah. He's been plagued by a lot of injuries recently, though, man.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been in touch with him for a while, but all of us, we all, we're all good friends, and it's a good circle, because obviously it's our boxing world, so it's a big world, but it's a small world.
Yeah.
But but again, when I was 17, just fighting actively, it was guys like Larry I was sparring with. In my gym at Islington at the time, we had a guy who was 7-time national champion of Albania. His name was Jetmir Bakuku.
Yeah.
Some of his amateur fights are on YouTube as well. When he was fighting for Albania.
See.
And he did world championships for Albania. he was doing all the Olympic trials, but he got cut. That's why he never made. I think it was Athens he never made, that he tried to make in Sydney. But it's guys like Larry, Jetmir, and then when I was at West Ham, they had another guy, Sid. You know that when you're learning a lot from people.
Yeah.
Who it's doing a lot for you. It's almost like apprentice stages.
Yeah.
That's what I was going through. And then because a lot of people who know me and are saying, bro, how come you've been around for a while? You've been around for a while. And obviously,
a Harlem Shake, bro.
Who's that?
hello?
That's Reece,
Nah,
bro.
man, that's my phone, man.
Right.
One chick just tried to call me, but I don't want to answer it at the moment, man. That can wait.
So what would tempt you to go pro? What kind of offer would you be looking for?
I think I can't that's a very good question because let's keep it real. As we when we turn pro, there's a money orientated nature about us.
Yeah.
So if a promoter talks to us or a manager talks to us, because we don't know we don't really know what's a good deal or a bad deal because we've never been presented with any deal.
Yeah.
So in the mind of a pro that gets offered some deal, it probably sounds like a good deal to him. Based on the fact that, if I tell you, you're worth 20 grand,
Yeah.
I'll give you 20 grand. If nobody anywhere is giving you 20 grand or offered you 20 grand, you're going to think that you're going to feel like a millionaire before you've even done anything.
Yeah, of course.
True that.
But that's where the technology comes in because you don't really know your value 100% because no one's really placed anything on you. So it's almost like, it's auction, innit? You've gone to you just allowed yourself to be sold to the highest auctioneer, to the highest bidder.
Yep.
But then if there's been no bidder, but you've got one bidder, you're going to go to that one.
That's right.
Yeah, well, you ain't going. Yeah.
The options ain't there.
Exactly. So when because a few people in pro have spoken to me and said, when you're ready, come and talk to me.
Yeah.
And they've given me their numbers. They've offered me to spar with some of their pros. But again, as I know some of their pros already, I would have done that for the pros regardless. So, when it's almost like your friend who is a professional, his coach is offering you to come down his gym, but you're sparring with his boys, but you would have done it anyway.
Yeah.
So, I have had people, but there's been nothing real extensive been put out there to me. But, you know what I mean? But then at the same time, because things are coming together well now for me. Like 2012 was a really rocky up and down year.
Yeah.
Especially with me not going to the Olympics and doing the Olympic trials in Azerbaijan and getting beat by 1 point.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
how disappointing was that? Was that hard to get motivated after that?
yes. No, it wasn't hard to get motivated because what it was, the first trial was in Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
And we didn't even know we were going. And then which I can explain in a minute. Then the second trial was in Brazil. And I wanted to get to Brazil. But then a few political issues happened in Jamaica, which stopped me and my boy who was at Fitzroy Lodge at the time, Jovan Young, who's now a pro. It stopped us from going to Brazil. But we was going hard. We went hard in training. We done what we had to do to go back to Jamaica and go back to go Brazil. But then what happened with World Championships? Because I knew I could survive and I was good enough, I was more motivated because I now know I can do it.
No doubt.
And like what happened when I went to the World Champs, I was in Azerbaijan for 1 month, 2-week training camp and 2 weeks competition. After the World Championships, I was on the plane back with Anthony Joshua, the whole team GB. We were all on the plane together. Like, my mum and Anthony Joshua's mum were waiting for both of us together at the airport. Because we were all the last coming out, me and Anthony Joshua and Jovan. But what happened was, when we were I came back home for 1 week, then Mexico straight after for the Pan Am Games, and then when I was in Mexico now, I'm winning 2 fights, 1 more fight before the medal, and I got beat against Venezuela. So, you know, like that idea that, you know, like when I was always just 1 step away from achieving.
Yeah.
But I was never out of my depth.
Yeah, you can mix it. You can mix it with them, man.
Yeah, and at the time I only had 35 fights.
That's good, man.
When I told the Canadian coach I had 35 fights, he said, "What?" Like, cause I never got beaten up. I didn't even have any scratches or marks on my face.
Yeah.
I literally looked like I just came in. You know when you just come into the gym fresh, and I came out fresh. You wouldn't have thought I had a fight. And so because of those experiences, I'm like, nah, I can do it. I can. You know when you know yourself, you can do it.
Yeah.
And then what happened is I went to Jamaica, and they made me box twice against the guys who they had already picked.
Oh, you want to make it? You want to box for the Jamaica for the Olympics?
Yeah, he boxes for the Jamaican team.
Yeah, because I do already.
What,
in the Olympics?
No, he's just a Jamaican boxer.
I've done Commonwealth Games for them.
Yeah.
I've done World Championships and I've done Pan American Games.
So how come they didn't pick you for the Olympics?
That's where the political situation happened.
Go on.
Because what happened is we went to Azerbaijan for the Olympic trials, and then I got beat by 1 point. And then in the Pan Am Games, I got beat the 1 fight before the medal stages. And that year in 2011, I travelled everywhere that year. I was fighting in Panama, I fought in Jamaica, I fought in Ecuador, I fought in Azerbaijan.
Damn.
I was in America. I was in America that year. I was all over Britain that year as well. I went Ireland as well. So I literally was boxing everywhere. And then I had to come out of my own pocket for a lot of things. And then because of
what do you pay yourself? I'm a bit confused.
Some stuff I have paid for myself. Like when I went Panama, I paid for myself. When I went to when I've gone Jamaica, I've paid for myself.
The flights, the hotel.
No, what happens is if you go to any competition, which is AIBA run, AIBA pay for everyone's hotel. Because the moment you go to any international games, there's someone there that's waiting to pick you up and take you in their van or an appointed vehicle.
Okay.
Or like when we went India, we had the Indian military waiting for us.
Wow.
And when we went Mexico, we had the Mexican police and military waiting for us because Guadalajara was put on high risk.
Damn.
You see where Salt Canelo's from?
Yeah.
That's where the Pan Am Games were, in Guadalajara, Jalisco State. That's where I went. So that the whole of Guadalajara was put on
Mexico,
high risk.
yeah?
Yeah, that's Mexico, yeah.
Okay, go on.
That when we were there, we got escorted we was always getting escorted by military and police, even when we went shopping. And there was checkpoints everywhere. That the whole of Guadalajara was on lock because the cartels run that area hardcore.
Yeah, they be chopping people's heads and shit. We see on YouTube.
Yeah, and kidnapping's a big thing. You know, like so. There's a whole bunch of stuff. But you see, the thing is, credit where credit is due. You see, them Mexican people, they didn't want nothing. They loved the whole event and they loved everyone else coming there. Even, just for turning up to Mexico, you were a superstar in Mexico. Yeah. That and so you know that. But then because of all of that now, and I never got a medal. Like an ultimatum was put on me by Jamaica saying, you've got to come to the Jamaican Nationals in December if you want to make the team. And then I said to our president, I said, yo, do you realise that I've had to pay for myself to go everywhere? And then you want me to pay again to come Jamaica? And then they picked that team in December. And then back in April I went back there. and boxed who the guys they picked, and I beat them. And then my boy, obviously Jovan, he went and boxed another guy that they picked at his weight, and he beat him. And then there was a whole controversy in Jamaica. All KLA radio was interviewing the president, saying, "Oh, you know, these guys have done everything. They're the most experienced boxers. Why not send your most experienced?" So it was a whole bunch of back and forth on why we never went. And then that team they sent to Brazil, they all lost. None of them qualified. Like, one of them won a fight and lost a fight, and the guy who I beat, he never made his weight. So then everybody was like, after all of that money that was spent on boxers, everybody failed, kind of thing. Because even when we lost, we always had such a good account of ourselves that, you know, when it was almost like, you know, we never lost almost because of the performances we put up, and we had our share of wins too. So that was what happened with the whole Olympic situation. And then, like, even there was almost another saga about that too. Because you see, prior to, you know, when Portia Simpson came to power. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Go on, Reece.
Yeah, do you remember, you know, Portia Simpson Miller, when she came to power?
Who's that? Is that Bob Marley's wife thing, yeah?
No, the Prime Minister of Jamaica now, Portia Simpson.
Okay.
Go on, I'm listening.
Well, when she came to power last year, the people who worked for the JOC, the Jamaican Olympic Committee, the people who worked for the JOC, they all got brought in by JLP government. So they all lost their job, and I think the PNP government brought their people to work in. So there was a whole scandal about who's going to fund the trip to Brazil for the Jamaican boxers, because money had been stolen. So, hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
Listening. We're listening. I'm
So
listening.
they're saying that money had been stolen, and how are they gonna fund the boxers for the Olympic trials? So then, even what the plan was me and my boy, if we did go Brazil, we would have had to pay for ourselves, because they never had no money to send boxers to Brazil, because they were trying to approach private companies instead of the government. But then, what happened? They finally did get the funding. I think they got it from a private source. They got the funding, but then they sent the wrong boxers, because nobody ended up qualifying, and they were all inexperienced boxers. So it was a whole 2012 was a year of madness for me, because, you know, like, as I live in Stratford,
Yeah,
I was at the doorstep of the Olympics.
yeah.
And then, you know, I'll tell you something funny that happened. I saw one of the I saw a hurdler for Dominican Republic. If you see, you know, you can even type her on YouTube. Her name's Lavon Ladette. Like, pretty girl from Dominican Republic who does 110-meter hurdles.
Okay.
She saw me in Stratford in my work clothes. And then she said, "Oh, are you boxing?" And I almost felt like, you know, it's like there's an embarrassing feeling there. Because I'm used to seeing all these athletes at different events all over the world.
Yeah.
But then now I live in Stratford, it's at my doorstep. And all these athletes who I actually know personally are seeing me on the streets in my work clothes. I even saw Jamaican officials, and they saw me in my work clothes.
Mm-mm.
So you know, like, when it got me, because for like 15 days I had to really suck that shit up.
Yeah.
Like, it got me deeply. Like, you know, like, when I'm not gonna lie and say I felt it.
Oh, no doubt.
And when you're seeing guys who you've actually boxed and competed with there, when you've seen them there, like if I see the Russian team or Azerbaijan team, they actually know me. They all call me Jamaica because they don't speak English well. I saw the Brazilian team the Brazilian boxers, I saw the Cuban boxers, and I saw I saw some Azerbaijan boxers all outside the Stratford McDonald's, and they actually called me and said, "Ah, Jamaica," and me and them were talking, but I was in my normal everyday clothes. So like it did get like it got me. It got me. I'm not gonna lie and say that I never felt it, because these all, you know, like when it's all people that I know personally. I'm seeing everybody compete that I know. So like it took, you know, like it took a lot. And then there were people, when I saw certain Jamaican officials, they knew what happened, and they even had to say, "Right, that was messed up. You lot got dealt a bad hand." And then it came down to certain people. There were people in Jamaica who had certain demanding positions, and they had issues with us. And then there was a lot of politics over there saying, "Oh, they're English boys. Why can't we help our local boxers?" Yeah. That was another politics over there. It's almost like, "Oh, they're English. They're born in England. Let them box for England." So there's a real love and hate reaction that we've had since going Jamaica and boxing for Jamaica.
That's a shame that they're so ignorant to think like that. You know?
Yeah, it's a real deep thing, because it's like, you know, when I've spoken to, say, like in Jamaica, Jamaican coaches, I say to them, "Yo, even people who are white, Asian, black, they all praise us for what we do in Jamaica." But then I say, when we're in Jamaica now, we almost get dealt with sometimes like anyhow, sometimes. Because you've got another group of Jamaica that really love what you do. Yeah. And then there's another group that are jealous. There's a real jealousy group. I mean, I met Edward Seaga. You know, the former Prime Minister.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's 87 now, or 88.
Okay, damn.
I met him when I was there. I met that whole JLP cabinet.
Wow.
Like I met Andrew Holness. I met a lot of them former prime ministers. Like all of the JLP cabinet I've met, and they were praising me for what I was doing in Jamaica. Nah, I must admit, JLP cabinet, they love sport. Yeah. So any sporting event that you see in Jamaica, you're gonna see JLP cabinet there.
So what about?
That's why you. Go on.
So what about the rest of the boxers? Didn't you have some controversy with some of the Jamaican boxers themselves? Rivalry?
Yeah, because I had some controversy over there. Well, I always have almost, because it's like there's always been an issue like, he's an English boy, send him back to England. I boxed there, and I nearly knocked out one of their boxers.
Right.
And the ref kept stopping it, and they gave it to him as a decision. And this was in December, and like it was a clear robbery. Like I nearly knocked him out. Every time I hit him with a body shot, he was bending down, touching his stomach, and the ref was warning me for low blowing. And the ref even took a point off me when I was hitting him with clear body shots. And what ended up happening at the end, the next day, he got stopped, and one of the officials in Jamaica said to me, "Hey, don't quarrel about what happened last night. Certain things might be overturned in your favor." So it's like they were telling me, "Look, just keep it, you know, keep quiet over what happened."
Yeah.
Because like we don't want you to, you know, like when it was almost like, yeah, that did happen, and that was messed up, but don't worry about it. Don't. You know, when everyone's almost sort of taming you. Yeah. And but then you see, the thing is, in Jamaica now, because every time I've gone there, you know you're getting a good fight. Yeah. So under the same token of people saying he's English, Jamaicans don't care once they get entertainment. Yeah. So that is a plus sign. You know, if you do your thing,
you're gonna get your props. If you do your thing, you're getting your props, regardless.
Yeah, you will. You will. No matter who you are, what you are. Like when I was over there, I went to a running event. Right. I went to one of the track events, and that's where I met Edward Seaga. Okay. And they had runners from Sri Lanka going there, doing 400-meter runs. And there was a Sri Lankan girl, and she was still dealt with under the same props as Jamaican girls were.
Right.
And she didn't even win, but she still got her props, and people still dealt with her the same way. Like, a lot of Cubans were over there doing their running as well. So there's a lot of overseas athletes going there to compete. And I've seen them as well.
Man.
So, you know, credit where credit is due. That's how they are in Jamaica. Once they get a good showing,
yeah,
they're happy.
Yeah. Did you see Anthony Ogogo the other day?
I never watched his pro fight, you know. I never watched him. And then I must admit, you see Anthony Ogogo, from when I was in the Commonwealth Games with him.
Yeah.
Because I was 69 kilos. He was talking to me in India.
Right.
You know, like on like a friendly level. Like,
yeah.
we were talking. But then, and at the same time, he used to kind of look away every time he saw Javan, because Javan was middleweight. And then, but then a year later in Azerbaijan, he's talking to Javan like Javan's his best friend, because Javan's now a light heavy, and he saw me and he kept his head down and turned his head the other way, like he never saw me.
Okay.
And I used to think, why that? Yeah, if we box, but there's no need to upkeep all that foolishness.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, like when you wish someone well and you hope they do well in their life and their career, but you know, you don't really hold much high ratings for them.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what are you keeping your head down when you see me for? I'm not even, my accolades haven't even matched up to yours. And bearing in mind that same Commonwealth Games, he got a silver medal in, and that same World Championships, he got beat by Falco, the same guy that beat him to get the silver. Like, Falco beat him in the World Championships as well. That fight's even on YouTube. But in the Olympics, Falco did an even worse job on him.
Okay.
Like, everybody, like, the moment, like, because I remember Falco, and I know Falco's brother too, Yamaguchi Falco, who's 81 kilos, because I was in Mexico with Yamaguchi. Like, even though they don't speak English,
yeah,
but they all know me, and like, you know, when there's a certain dialogue we do have, and one of their coaches speaks English,
right,
and I speak to the coach as well. Like, when they came to the Olympic test games in November, I was at the test games, and they all still know me from there.
See.
So, you know, like, it's a very close circle, and it's a, you know, we all know each other. There's a relative, you know, we all have relative good dialogue. Even though, even the boxers that don't speak English, you can still communicate with them.
Yeah. Well, boxing is a great common denominator, man. And like, but I was wondering, what do you suspect is why Ogogo is trying to avoid eye contact with you? What do you suspect it is?
I don't know. I could never work that one out, and then I never could work that one out, and because I used to think that, but or then maybe because obviously I don't feel low to anyone.
Yeah,
I've got a Slay the Giant complex where I don't care how big you are or who you are. Like, I'm not scared to fight you, or I'm not scared to go against you. Yeah. So I'm not keeping my head down when I see you. I'll look you in your eye and talk to you. Yeah. And, you know, it don't scare me if I have to say hello or shake my enemy's hand. Yeah. So I could never work that one out, because I was like, hey, Javan, you notice how Ogogo just kind of wormed his way around keeping his head down when he saw me? Because when we were at the World Championships, we was like in the Haydar Aliyev complex. There's a whole row of seats that the whole GB squad members, from Robert McCracken down to the flyweight boxer like Charlie Edwards and all of them, right, all the way down, like literally from the bottom to the top. Their whole delegation members were the 12 members. So literally, me and Javan is shaking hands with all 12 members. I shook hands with 11. Because Anthony Ogogo kind of kept his head down. Right. And he's in between somebody I shook hands with. He's in between two people I shook hands with. Damn. And it was a boxer who weighed 69 kilos from Blackpool and another boxer who was the Blackpool was a light welter 64, and it was one of the lower weight boxers. And then I shook hands with like Robert McCracken, and they bring a psychiatrist with them as well, and they even bring a physiotherapist with them. Like GB delegation is big, like.
Okay, they're not taking no chances at all, bro.
Nah, like when I, like, cause what happened, you see, like when I see you, I can even